leaders from Western Kenya say they are working on a strategy that will adequately prepare the region for the 2017 polls. The leaders say they will focus on, among other areas, increasing the number of registered voters in Western Kenya. They were speaking in Kakamega.
Kakamega meeting brought together political leaders and professionals from Western Kenya to strategize in readiness for the 2017 polls.
Sasa lazima tuamke tuanze kujua saa hii kuwa siasa ni rasilimali, na tukianza kujipanga saa hii watatuogopa, watakuja kuongea na sisi. Lakini kama bado tumesambaratika, tunasema mimi sielewi, wanasiasa bwana atoli ndio anaelewa. Hapana.
With the elections over 4 years away, the leaders say preparedness will earn the region a place on the national political map come 2017.
You professionals, you should form a secretariat, and perhaps that secretariat unite with some of us who are not going to be presidential candidates. And then we move the bus forward.
The leaders say they will roll out a campaign to ensure residents get identity cards to enable them register as voters.
If that decision is not made today, 4 years down the road, you'll even be worse off. Get identity cards and let us encourage our people to register as voters. And finally, they should go and vote.
It means we have to go to the trenches to have our right. Let us go to the trenches. Tukikaa tukingoja itatoka kwa meza, tutapewa kwa sahani, haitakuwa. Tujigange.
This country is pegged to ethnicity. No way out category. That is why it is reflected in our national constitution.
Rita Tinina, KTN.
Sugarcane farmers in Transmara now want the Kenya Roads Board and Narok County government to repair the damaged roads in the county. The farmers lament that the poor road network is hampering smooth transportation of their farm produce. The farmers say there has been long delay in the transportation of sugarcane, especially during the rainy season. Transmara Sugar Company has since requested for a contract with the county government to repair the roads. The company management says it has all the necessary equipment to repair the roads.
Hii ni hasara kwa mkulima kwa sababu tons zitapunguka. Itaenda kianguka, anaenda kupima huko, pengine imetoka kidogo. Huwezi kujua asili ya nini hesabu ya tons, lakini inaanguka. Hiyo yote ikisanywa ipelekwe huko, unasakuta wakulima wengi wapata hasara. Wakati ya mvua tinga zinaangukanga na mwaga mewa.
Victims of the infamous pyramid schemes are now calling on the government to follow through on plans to compensate them. The victims say these plans seem to have stalled even after Treasury set aside 5 billion shillings. This follows recommendations by a task force that had been set up by the then Ministry of Cooperatives to look into the pyramid saga. The victims of the scam are now demanding action from the government within 7 days.
It's a high time that the Jubilee government has to do something about this issue. We are aware that there are some people who want this thing to go to wish away because some of them are guilty of this issue. But I want to say this: it's something that has affected everybody in this country of Kenya. We realized as we worked around the country, even deep inside mashinani, people are suffering.
So sisi ile bili ambayo tunataka kuleta kwa serikali, kwa rais wetu Uhuru Kenyatta, ni kwamba watu wake wengi sana wamekufa. Mimi mwenyewe nilipoteza bibi yangu aliaga dunia kwa sababu nilikosa pesa hata ya kumpeleka hospitali. Kwa hivyo ni kitu kiko na uchungu sana. Watu wengi tunajua wamepoteza maisha yao because the people who registered for these schemes, they are over 1 million.
Public primary school head teachers are currently meeting in Mombasa for a week-long conference, which is set to begin tomorrow. The agenda will be in focus is the implementation of Jubilee's flagship laptop project in all public primary schools. Speaking to the press in Mombasa, the Kenya Primary School Head Teachers Association National Chairman Joseph Karuga said the association is keen to play its role in the implementation of the project. Speaking separately in Mombasa, Information Communications and Technology Principal Secretary Joseph Tiampati said his ministry has embarked on the task of laying the infrastructure for implementing the project.
Just like free primary education, 10 years was introduced with its own challenges. To sustain it has been the work of that head teacher in the primary section.
Kuna challenges tofauti ambaye tunajaribu kukabiliana nao hasa kwa upande wa infrastructure, kuhakikisha kwamba mashule zinapata stima na pia kuhakikisha kwamba broadband au tuseme fiber optic infrastructure ya internet ili tufikishe kila sehemu ya nchi.
County speakers are now considering to join the governors in the call for a referendum on devolution. The National Speakers Forum, which has been meeting in Kwale, says it is concerned about several responsibilities meant to be decentralized and which it feels that the central government is clinging to. They declared that devolution will proceed and that they were prepared to defend it to the end. The Speakers Forum is scheduled to meet the Governors' Council on the 13th of September, after which it is widely expected they will formally declare their support for the referendum, which among other things wants to raise the county revenue allocation from 15% to 40%. Governors' Council Chair Isaac Ruto and Kwale County Governor Salim Vuria were guests at the deliberation.
In this country, we have had 50 years of centralization, and we didn't go to the devolution by default. It was the right thing to do, and because we know there are also forces coming from different directions to derail this process, it is our duty as governors and every Kenyan to protect devolution.
We are not taking lightly, and that's why the Speakers Forum has been quiet, and we have been consulting on the ground. And we don't want to rush to the decisions, but somehow we have consulted on the ground and we're consulting with the governors and everybody and all the stakeholders so that we can make a good decision.
Speakers don't make roadside decisions. They have procedures to go through. So you also understanding orders, and so you really have to give it to them.
Former head of state Daniel Arap Moi has asked members of the Akorino faith to adopt to modern times and take their children to school. The former president said all children deserve an education for a brighter future. Moi spoke when an Akorino delegation paid him a courtesy call at his home in Kabarak.
The Akorino members had paid the former head of state a visit to show gratitude for his assistance, especially his intervention when the government was about to deregister the religious denomination after it was classified as a cult.
Na hiyo ndio jambo moja ambalo imetufanya tuje hapa siku ya leo kumwambia asante.
However, the former head of state now wants members of the Akorino religion to educate their children.
Now you have many. You have many. I'm keen to almost everything is to be educated. And that's why you do the best you can to send children to school. That's very important. Then thereafter, they will help themselves and they will help you in turn.
Present at the function was Stanley Kamau, CEO of Ahadi Kenya Trust, who demanded that the government reintroduces the free school milk program to improve nutrition among kids, especially those from disadvantaged backgrounds.
I finished my primary school level because of the milk you provided for this country.
The former head of state commended the Ahadi Trust for its relentless efforts to get rid of the Jiga menace from the country. Zipporah Karani, KTN News at 1.